Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Private Property Farming Podcast. My name is Mbali Nwoko, and thank you for joining us this evening. I'm feeling a bit under the weather today, so I just want to add a disclaimer there. Put a disclaimer to say, please excuse my groggy voice. I'll do my best to project my voice as best as possible so that you can hear me when I'm speaking to our guest this evening. But thank you once again for joining nonetheless. I would like to encourage everybody to continue to comment, like, and share this podcast to whomever may need it and whoever could benefit from our conversations and or our discussions this evening. And don't forget that the podcast is on our Private Property YouTube channel. After every live, the videos are sitting at our YouTube channel under the farming podcast playlist. Other than that, we still have other podcasts related to property, which you could still find still on our YouTube channel under the Private Property YouTube channel. I would like to introduce today's guest, and is a dear friend of mine who wears many hats in the agricultural sector and is also a farmer as well. She's a livestock farmer based in the Free State, but that's where her farm is. But currently she's based in Johannesburg. And we are going to be focusing on her role at the African Leadership Academy. And Nono Sekhoto, that's who our guest is today. And she is the lead of AL for Agribusiness. Nono, thank you for joining us. How are you doing?
Hi, Mbali. Thanks for inviting me. I'm great. Thank you. Happy to be here.
It's a pleasure. Today we're talking about this fantastic initiative that you have launched under your portfolio within the African Leadership Academy. Tell us about your role as the lead and what exactly is this initiative about?
Great. So as you mentioned, I work at the African Leadership Academy. And just to give you a brief overview of what that is. So African Leadership Academy aims to identify, develop and connect the next generation of leaders from across the continent. So currently they're reaching out to about 46 countries where they have identified young people who they have developed. And so what they do is then they have they support them once they are out of at ALA and when they are in university, and that's when my team comes in. So our team is called the Networks team. We have a long life engagement with our alumni in a way that we support them to actually get into opportunities and careers within the agricultural sector. That's my portfolio, and we do this across the continent. And so what we actually do in terms of the support really focuses on enabling our young people who would have been in universities across the world to come back to Africa and really explore the opportunities here on the continent. And that's what the Networks team does. We support them to be able to do that.
Awesome. And so because you head up this agribusiness portfolio within ALA, what type of opportunities exist in the African continent for these graduates?
Great. So The network members really start from high school level, which is those that are at ALA. Then we have those who are students in the universities across the continent, as well as the globe. And then we have those that are in professions already, because ALA has been in existence now for about 13 years. So obviously the first cohort of young people are already they're in their 30s. So we've also got professionals that are in already building careers. And then because in the agribusiness space, we have a big chunk of them who are actually building their own businesses. And so that's the type of individuals that we're supporting. And so what opportunities we're trying to find for them is really starts at internship opportunities, job opportunities, support for their businesses, and then obviously access to anything that exposes them to what are the opportunities that are available and the extent of agriculture. So this is literally looking at the entire value chain. It's not just farming. And it could be academia, it could be, and it's also in all the variety of countries to be able to get to see how they can actually build careers in the sector.
So if I understand correctly, the AL for Agribusiness initiative, it's for graduates that have that are still with ALA or have just passed or graduated or are part of the alumni to take part in this initiative. So other graduates from externally, from other institutions or universities cannot apply for this program. Is that correct?
So yes, so our network at the moment is focused on our network members, which I've just described. So we have two cohorts of network members. We've got those that have come through the African Leadership Academy school, so the alumni. Then we also have a partnership with MasterCard Foundation, who has supported many what we call MasterCard Foundation scholars from across the continent. So that's who makes up the network members at the moment. So the initiative that you're speaking about was the main aim of the network is to make sure that these young people are connected to each other and to the sector through the networks that we're building with partners and stakeholders as well as industry leaders. So, but how we do that is that it's very important that the young people are connected in such a way that they're building relationships in a way that will enable them to solve problems that they see that they're experiencing together and share with each other the opportunities they're finding, exchanging skills and knowledge. And then the aim is so that they're building relationships so that in the future we have a leadership base that is pan-African, and in a way that we'll see that a leader in Nigeria will be able to pick up a phone to a personal friend in South Africa and be like, hey, I see this opportunity. How can we get involved? And for us, we believe it starts at an early age where we want to develop those solid relationships.
Right.
And so the idea of getting this initiative up and going is that, so we started the AL for Agribusiness Network only launched last year, so 2020. So it's been a year in existence. And so when COVID hit, we'd already had so many young people who were, had opportunities to go to internships. And then the pandemic came, and so people couldn't get jobs, couldn't go to their jobs, especially their internships, because they actually form part of some of the students' requirements to be able to complete their their degrees. And so my idea about coming up with this was really to say, okay, how else can we ensure that our young people who are still students or those that are, graduates still are able to use their skills to build themselves up, to be able to continue developing themselves. And so how we did this is we then realized, okay, how do we then connect the young people to each other so that we're able to actually make sure that they both benefit from the connections? And like I mentioned earlier, the cohort that has of those who are building businesses in the sector, we realized that they actually open agribusinesses based on either an opportunity they see in their area or maybe some passion that they had, but a lot of them don't have agribusiness focused skills. right?
Right.
And so with that in mind, that's when we then decided, let's actually build internship programs that will enable these entrepreneurs to get the skills they need from the interns, from the students and graduates, so that they can support their businesses. The other thing we realized is that technical support for these entrepreneurs is also something that they can't afford, right? They're not able to get some expert to come and really give them some ideas of how to rethink things, or how to maybe put together planting programs, or train them on some certain aspect that they probably need in their business. And that's how we then realized, hang on, our graduates and our students already have this knowledge. How then do we connect them to be able to support each other, right? And with that, it means there's a connection between the network members. They're building relationships while they're working with each other. And there's obviously an exchange of skills. And we're also finding that the students who also want to start businesses, this is a very good opportunity for them as well to understand what are the real struggles of young people who are building businesses in the sector. So this is a win-win for everyone.
Right.
And then the third aspect of it was, obviously we need to make sure that our graduates and our so the interns, the graduates and the students are actually paid, right? We have to pay a stipend for incentive, and also to make this very formal and serious. And so we then introduced, so MasterCard Foundation really funds most of our programs, but the Agribusiness one that we're launching this year will be funded by Standard Bank. And so Standard Bank has come on board to say, we will support our young entrepreneurs with this support of funding the stipends that will support these interns to help them.
Right. So tell me, I was actually going to ask two questions, but you've alluded to a bit, to say, besides MasterCard Foundation, which other organizations are partnering with you in this initiative? And secondly, how long is the internship? Is it 6 months? Is it 12 months? What's the minimum required period?
So the partners we're working with, so I had to open up opportunities to find entrepreneurs. So we have three ecosystems that support entrepreneurs that we're talking to. So Anzisha Prize, which is an ALA initiative, which focuses on very young entrepreneurs that start at like the age of 15 up until 25. So that's who they support. And they're based all over the continent. And then the second cohort is Nourishing Africa. So Nourishing Africa has a database of about 700 entrepreneurs, right, across the continent. And so we've highlighted a few of them that we would like to participate in this. And then we've also then got SAB Foundation, which is focused in entrepreneurs that are in South Africa. And so this is kind of gives us a pool of potential employers, right? Employer partners that the interns can uptake. And so, as I said, Standard Bank is coming then to support us in order to fund the stipends. So those are the partners we're working with. And so I think the partners are also helping us to understand the needs of the entrepreneurs, so that we make sure that we're delivering, of course, on what we're saying we will help other entrepreneurs with. Then your other question, which was, sorry, what was the other question?
The tenure of the interns.
Yes.
How long? Absolutely. What's the minimum period here?
Yeah. So at the moment, we've proposed between 2 and 3 is a minimum time that the internships can last, and we will support up to a maximum of 6 months in terms of each one. So that's kind of the ranges that we're looking. So it will also depend on the entrepreneur. We'd like to know the entrepreneur. We'd like them to also have a process of understanding how they will use these interns during their time, so that they can also make sure that they will get the maximum of what they will need, to be able to get value from the work that has been done. So I think what we're also doing is also promoting the ability for entrepreneurs to understand what they need, what are the gaps in their businesses, and if they get a resource, how will they utilize it? It's so important that they also understand how they will use those interns, because that means the intern will definitely get value as well, right? Knowing that there's specific work for a specific time that they will be engaged in.
So just to sum up, for anybody that's joining, what you basically said right now is that with the ALA, you launched this AL for Agribusiness Network initiatives, where graduates that have that are part of the alumni network within ALA or who are still students, you're placing them into internship roles in businesses, you know, whether it's run by entrepreneurs or small business owners, etc., or companies. And then you've partnered with Standard Bank, who's going to support the stipend, who's going to come from a remuneration point of view to support the graduates in their stipend. And the minimum, the tenure of this internship program is plus minus 6 months. What happens post the 6 months? Can the entrepreneur or business owner say, I would like to retain this resource, the graduate, and therefore now give you full employment? Or, can they also just be like, the 6 months is over, thank you very much, goodbye? Are you looking at some of those things?
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, the work we're doing is exposing our young people to opportunities. If there is an opportunity for a job, even better, right? Because then that means the graduate then can continue being exposed and actually working in the sector. That is the point. So the idea for us is that we want to, the internship is very specific for what for the students and the graduates. It's a way in, it's a step into the industry. It's a step into a potential job. It's building on skills that they've learned. It's giving them a variety of exposure to be able to become participants in the agribusiness sector, right? So that's what it is. So absolutely. So if the business owner or the companies, a lot of them actually do, at some point, then are happy with what they've received from the interns, and then they offer them jobs. Absolutely, that happens.
Mm-hmm. Because we are still in COVID, can you give us an idea in terms of where are the entrepreneurs? Like, you mentioned that, ALA is throughout the African continent. Are there any entrepreneurs that you started to select? Are there any interns at the moment or graduates that you have decided to select? Maybe if you could explain to us, how many interns do you currently have, and where are they located? And can entrepreneurs or business owners absorb the graduates and work with them remotely, because we are still in a global pandemic?
Yes. So what's actually interesting is that the reason why I mentioned how this started, especially the agribusiness focused one, is because we needed to make sure that we're giving our graduates and students opportunities remotely. They could still be able to use their skills without having to travel all the way to the entrepreneurs and the businesses. So we opened up a lot of remote opportunities. Absolutely. Our graduates and our students are literally all over the continent, as well as off the continent. So others are actually based in universities. We've got a huge cohort of students in Costa Rica at Earth University. We've got some in the US, we've got Canada, we've got the UK, as well as Europe. We've got a few in Asia as well. So literally they're based all over the world. So availability, the numbers, I can't tell you how many interns there are, but our network is of young people in all the sectors. So we've got a variety of sectors. It's we've got agriculture, health, education, governance, the arts, and which one have I left out? Infrastructure. So these are, there's a lot, and at the moment our numbers are ranging in about 3,000 or so. So, and some of them, as I said, are already working. So, so the ones we would be speaking to will be those who are looking for opportunities right now. So we have a portal where we would advertise what we have received from the entrepreneurs or the businesses that they're looking for. And then for us, some of us, like for me, I know who's in my network. You know, we have regular catch up. I have some that I'm coaching. So I know who's looking for opportunities. So some opportunities are very specific. Like I know someone is ready to have an opportunity. So I'll probably recommend them. Hey, I've posted this on the portal. Please apply. This will be good for you. So, but as I said, we do have remote opportunities, but then we do also have in-person now. Some have been actually having in-person opportunities.
So, Nono, when are you launching this? Is this already public information? Have you already reached out to the organizations? You mentioned SAB, Zisha, Nourishing Africa. So now, is this already ongoing? Are businesses coming forth? And my next question is, then how are you matching the intern to the business? Does the intern say, obviously the businesses will come and present themselves and say, I'm business X, I'm in retail, or I operate in agro-processing, or I'm a farmer, or I'm in, whatever the case is, macadamia nuts, whatever the case is, the businesses would present themselves. And how are you matching the students? Are the interns saying, I would like to just be in processing or part of an association? So just tell us, how's it working behind the scenes?
So in terms of the internship program in general, for all the sectors, for our whole network, this is ongoing. This has been going on for the last couple of years. So the work of what we call the African Careers Network, which is where we actually host all the work that we're doing around supporting our young leaders. We have development courses that enable them to understand how to prepare themselves to get into jobs. So there's a whole lot of work happening in the background. We have a university support that supports them emotionally and however else they need support at that level. And then we have a team of the sector leads, which is what I am, a sector lead. We are now then focused on then specific industries. So the work of getting access to opportunities is ongoing. We're contacting stakeholders on a daily basis. I mean, I speak to new and existing stakeholders all the time, trying to understand how can we better support either the businesses, how can we get new talent in their businesses, and then also then, as I said, then we're then speaking and networking with the young leaders as well, so that I can then understand, okay, what type of opportunities should I actually be looking for so that they're going to be appropriate for my network members. And so it's a continuous work. Now, the initiative that I've launched, which is the Agribusiness internship program, this one is then saying, how do we then hone on finding young entrepreneurs who are running agribusinesses and who can use this opportunity in their businesses. So this is very, as I said, this work is happening all the time. So we started this agribusiness focused one last year, and so we're now actually just sent the first applications out to businesses like yourself. So we did that last week, and so from then on, we've spoken to all the different partners. So we'll be sharing this application and this opportunity with all those partners that I've mentioned. So we're literally ready to go.
Awesome. I'm pretty much fortunate to obviously be in your network, but for anybody who's listening and is like, I didn't get the email, I didn't get the memo, I didn't get the opportunity, and they are a business person, how do they get in touch with you, and how would they present their agribusiness?
So, as I said, we're always trying to open up doors for our network members. And so and the way we do that is obviously speaking to a variety of stakeholders. And so my email is probably the best way to get hold of me, which is very long. So it's, I don't know where you're going to share it, but it's Nono Sekhoto at AfricanLeadershipAcademy.org.
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
and we've also got a website, which is networks at African Leadership it's networks.africanleadershipacademy.org.
Awesome. Is there just in terms of businesses, right, that want to participate in this initiative, is there a selection criteria? Is there a number of years that a business needs to be operating, staff, turnover? How are you selecting the entrepreneurs or the businesses? Yeah.
So what we do is, in all honesty, there is no limit as to where, because our young people can actually learn from everybody, right? They can learn from those who just started. They can learn from those who are already established. But what we try to do is also ascertain that the entrepreneur will be able to actually work with the intern. I think to me, that's the most important, because there has to be value from both sides. So we want to make sure. We've also got a few tips on how to support remote opportunities, because I mean, this is the new thing. So we've got tips as to, for small businesses, to say this is what you should probably do. For instance, make sure you guys are connecting on a weekly basis, ask, and we would do the same with our network members as well. We want to make sure they're responsible in the way that they are contacting and working with the entrepreneurs. And we always have catch up. I mean, the most important thing for me to do is also follow up. So I literally set a time where I will have a discussion with either the entrepreneur to understand, are there any challenges? Are you getting the best out of this? How can I help? And I've always found that very interesting, because the questions that, we go back and forth with the entrepreneurs often help them to like, oh, I didn't think about that. Okay, thank you. So, and then I would do the same with the interns. I'll contact them, ask them for any challenges, how are they finding it, so that we can make sure that they actually are benefiting, and both sides.
Oh, no, this sounds like such an awesome opportunity, and I'm glad to be taking advantage of this, because literally it is a free resource right now for any entrepreneur or business owner who, is looking to offload some of the responsibilities in the business. And it's great that we could also participate as entrepreneurs or business owners virtually, and always have that constant communication and feedback sessions with yourselves, just to see how the relationship is going. Any last comments or thoughts on what we discussed today, or anything you feel that we have not mentioned that's quite important with regards to this program?
Yeah, I think we've covered everything, but I would like to let potential stakeholders, who would be interested in supporting young people in agriculture. And I think for me, there's a lot of, we've got other stakeholders where we're also looking at opportunities for supporting bursaries, right? Some of our network members are going to do PhDs, some are actually doing masters. So we've got all levels. And then, so that's something that we would like to, promote when we speak to stakeholders. There's a variety of ways to interact with our network members, even if it means just coming on board and coming to share at our webinars, which are speaker series where we would invite a leader in the industry to come and share around how they build their careers in the sector. Another one would be a masterclass where we then get them, organizations or industry leaders to come and really speak around the skills and the things that you need to learn in terms of participating in the industry. As we know, the industry is very, very big. So so for me, it'll be important for me to let everybody know that this is what we're doing, and we look forward to also connecting with the community, as we're already doing right now with our new agribusiness entrepreneurs that we're bringing on board. That's how we grow our network.
This is awesome. I look forward to seeing this initiative, break ground and obviously help some young interns just getting skills, because, the unemployment rate, especially amongst youth, is quite high. What I just do feel a bit sorry about is, all the other graduates who may be watching this live and are thinking, sure, I'm not part of ALA, but I would love to take part of this opportunity. And I think for anybody who is a lead in another institution, they could also make take an opportunity such as this to create it within the organization to obviously help employ other graduates, that come from other universities. But thank you so much for your time, Nono. I really, really appreciate it. We will make sure that we grab your email address once again, because it is quite long. And so, we'll make sure that we put it in the show notes on the YouTube channel. But thanks for your time this evening.
Great. Thanks, Bali. Thanks for inviting me. And I was happy to speak about the work that I absolutely love.
Awesome. That was Nono Sekhoto, who is the lead for AL for Agribusiness Network at the African Leadership Academy. And we were talking about this great opportunity that she has developed within the African Leadership Academy for young graduates and interns to, offer their skills or their time or their talents or their knowledge to entrepreneurs, business owners. And it's pretty much a resource for free if you are a business owner listening to this podcast today, and is supported by the MasterCard Foundation as well as Standard Bank, who'll be paying a stipend to the interns. So if you are watching this podcast and want to be involved, I strongly encourage you to please contact Nono directly, and she will give you all the information as a business in terms of what you need to do so that you could be paired with an intern of your choice. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. Continue to like, comment, and share, and I will see you next week, Tuesday. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.